Hello. So I'm going to do a video of something not Disney related, but it is still somewhat geeky. Something I describe to quite a few people as the most important thing in my life. It is the Game of Thrones. I mean, this is my only Game of Thrones jumper, but it's got a bit scabby and I do apologise. Like parts of it peeling off and it no longer says winter is coming, so I need to get more. I'm going to talk to you about what I classify as the most shocking moments, the top 10 most shocking moments of Game of Thrones. Now, those of you who watch Game of Thrones will know this is almost Mission Impossible, because Game of Thrones is just shocking generally. So to narrow it down to 10 is very hard. And as I've been writing it, I've been thinking of more and more, but I've had to choose the ones that actually stuck in my mind really vividly. You might disagree with me. If you do, let me know and I will rethink my list. But this is what I've decided to mention. They're not in any order, they're literally as they pop into my head. So bear with me. First one I'm talking about, I would say is one of the most shocking ones. It's not a key moment at all. It's not part of the plot, really. It's not a turning point or anything like that. It is the sacrifice of Shireen. This part of the plot is when Stannis Baratheon is like getting all panicky that he's not going to be king and stuff like that. So the Red Woman, Melisandre, is like, we need to have a live sacrifice and it's got to be blood related to Stannis. So they decide to sacrifice his only daughter Shireen. And up until this point, you're watching more and more of Shireen in the series. So you're watching her teach Davos to read. And she just seems like a really nice little girl, and she's got grayscale on her face. So she's quite understated and everything. And then suddenly she's just burnt at the stake. And that's it. I thought that was quite shocking because most big points have effect on the whole storyline, and that's just, he just killed his daughter and nothing happened. And that was quite devastating when I watched that. The next one I sobbed at. Literally, I was watching it in a fairly public place at the time, and literally if anyone walked in on me watching it, they would just come in and I'd be like like almost dribbling out of sadness. This is Hold the Door. Hodor's just one of those characters you can't help but love him. He's so gentle and placid and loyal, and it just this moment just explains so much about why he is Hodor, and he's just loyal to the end. And yeah, that was pretty devastating, really. Even people making jokes after that, and I saw at Norcon, there were like door stops with Hold the Door on, and I was just like, nope, 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 I cannot look at that. But yeah, it was very sad. Next up was quite early on in the series, season 1, when Viserys was still in the plot. So Viserys is the brother to Daenerys. He was her older brother, and he is the one who organised her marriage to Khal Drogo against her will. Like selling her as an object. He was trying to just create that union so he could have an army to take the Seven Kingdoms back. And Khal Drogo was like, no, I'm not giving you my army, we do not cross the sea. And then he's like, I will make you a king, here's the gold, and poured it on his head. Molten gold poured on his head. So he literally died because he was like melted, because he had a crown, a golden crown. and that was a very good moment. I enjoyed it, but it was quite shocking. You didn't really see it coming, unless of course you read the books. But just seeing him, like, it was very clever, I thought. Next one is my main man, Tyrion. I love Tyrion. He's like one of the best characters in the whole story. And this was a very telling point for him, is when he found his ex-lover, Shay, in his father's bed. And this was about the point where Tyrion was being accused of murder of his nephew, Joffrey. And so he was escaping prison and was going up the stairs to escape and stuff. And he found Shay, so he killed her. Because his biggest betrayal, because his dad always hated him. And this woman he loved with all his heart is having an affair with him. And then he finds his dad sitting on the toilet and he shoots him. And I was slightly disappointed with him because he was such a good character through and through, but also showed how much upset and devastation he'd had in his life, and enough was enough. So I thought that was a very good moment. I say good moment, but none of these are really good moments. Next one is the mutilation of Theon Greyjoy. Theon's being captured by Ramsay Snow at this point. I don't think he's a Bolton yet. And he is just being tortured. And it's not a particularly clear reason why. It's just to kind of build, I think the point is to build Ramsay's character up into this monster for later purposes. We're going to have a bit of Ramsay chat now. But it's just the things he's doing to Theon for no particular reason. It's just horrid. Like, he's chopping bits of his body off, scarring him for life. He's no longer Theon Greyjoy because he's been through all this torture. Leading on to that, or from that, is Sansa Stark's wedding night to Ramsay Bolton. So after Ramsay gets legitimised and he earns his dad's surname, Bolton, instead of the surname of Snow, he is then betrothed to Sansa so they can claim the North. And Sansa's been through so much rubbish at this point. She's been married, well, almost married to Joffrey, then she's not. She's been paraded around King's Landing, kind of as a prisoner. Then she's married off to Tyrion. Tyrion's actually really good to her, but she's not happy because he's a Lannister. And then she gets married to Ramsay Bolton. And I would say this is definitely one of the most shocking moments. I tend to sit with my eyes glued on the screen for the whole episode, no matter what is happening. And I had to look away at this bit. Sophie Turner's acting during this is amazing. Like, it's horrific. Because there's so much of this happening in the series, but for some reason, this point, when she gets raped, I can't, it's horrific. And there's nothing she can do. Anyway, that's a bit of a serious moment. But she has her comeback. The next Ramsay Bolton shocking moment is his end. So he had the Battle of the Bastards, and Jon wins. And they don't kill Ramsay. They keep him in a cell. And they're gonna, like, use him for stuff. But then you see Sansa watching him. And she just lets his dogs in. Now his dogs he's kept as a torture device, so they eat whoever he throws into them. But they're turned back on him and they eat him alive. And I thought that's just amazing ending, like it's his own poison really. Okay, so next one is how it all started. Bran Out of the Window by Jaime Lannister. Now, compared to things that happened during the series, it's not that shocking. Pushing a child out the window, I mean, in real life that's that's pretty horrific. But in Game of Thrones that's fairly tame. But that was the trigger of the whole thing. And when you think about it like that, that is pretty shocking. Then we've got, well, I can't do shocking moments without mentioning the Red Wedding. So to give a bit of context, the Red Wedding was the Stark, so Robb Stark, his new wife Talisa, and Catelyn Stark were visiting the Freys. Now, Walder Frey was not very happy because Robb was supposed to marry one of Frey's daughters, but he didn't. He married for love instead. He married a nurse, I think, so Talisa. She was pregnant, heavily pregnant with their first baby. And they went and they were having a dinner with the Freys, and they'd had food and drink, and as many people know, once you've been offered food and drink, you are a guest, and harm cannot come to guests. But it did. The Freys attacked the Starks. So Talisa gets stabbed in the stomach, so the baby's dead. She gets stabbed, she's dead. Robb is fussing over her, and loads of other people get killed. Then Robb dies. And Catelyn stood watching all this, and as she's screaming out at Robb dying, she dies. And it's a bloodbath. And what's really upsetting is Grey Wind also dies, and then they completely mutilate everyone, and they have a horse with Robb's body on it and then Grey Wind's head instead of his head on it, like running out of the thing. And it's pretty gruesome, and you just see every moment of their throats getting slit and everything. Ugh. But that is one of the biggest moments and bloodbaths there is that's not part of a war. And last but not least is the death of Khal Drogo. So we're going back to season 1 again, towards the end. So Dany loves Khal Drogo. She's pregnant with the baby. That goes wrong. Khal Drogo gets injured, and they go to this witch sort of lady to help save him. But the witch lady's not happy because her village were like raped and invaded by the Dothraki. So she helps a little bit, meaning that Khal Drogo isn't in pain, but he's in a constant coma. And Dany's like, this isn't a life for him. So Daenerys smothers Khal Drogo. And that's quite a heartbreaking moment because she hated him, and then she falls madly in love with him, and then she has to kill him. There's no other choice. That's not a life for him. He was this massive warrior man, and then he's not in control of his life anymore. So the only way she sees it is to put him out of his misery. So yeah, I should have probably said spoilers. But yeah, those are the 10 most shocking moments I could think of. Obviously there are thousands more. If you think there's one that is more shocking than one of the ones I've mentioned, please let me know and comment below. If you are liking the Game of Thrones theme, then please like and subscribe, and I've definitely got some more Game of Thrones ideas to talk about. So thank you for watching.